Everyone. It is a beautiful day in gorgeous Prince George's County. Thank you all so much for being here. Before I get started with my remarks, I want to welcome all of you to Prince George's County. This is probably my very first press conference in my new capacity as county executive with our wonderful governor, Wes Moore. So I thought it was fitting, Rashida, who is the executive director here at UCAP, that this is where we start our work together. Because it's really how we treat the least of these that determines who we are as leaders. And so we are going to not only show, but prove to you and those who you serve that we mean what we say and we say what we mean. And that is why we're here today. But we're not here alone. We are with so many of our residents, including many members of our elected community, starting with our chair of the Prince George's County Council, Ed Burrows. Also, we're here with Vice Chair Crystal Oriada. At-large member Jolene Ivy. And our newest council member, Shayla Adams Stafford. I hear that Senator Joanne C. Benson is in the house. Yes. Senator Benson, thank you. Also, Senator Malcolm Augustine. One of my favorite people on the planet, Delegate Diana Fennell. Now here's a familiar last name, Delegate Julian Ivy. And my soror, Sigma Gamma Rho Sorority Incorporated, just putting it out there, Delegate Andrea Harrison. Also with us is our acting director of the Department of Social Services, Erica Turner. I hope I didn't miss anyone. It is my honor to welcome Governor Wes Moore back to Prince George's County. He loves coming to Prince George's County, oh, by the way, to present this smart, innovative initiative that will help residents access critical services more easily. I want to recognize and thank the Executive Director of UCAP, Rashida Jamison. I want to recognize her for her leadership and vision. I'm not sure how many of you know this, but UCAP has been serving people since 1964. 1964. I also want to acknowledge, and if they can raise their hands or stand up if they're seated, acknowledge and express my appreciation to the UCAP Board of Directors for their steadfast governance and commitment to the community. We are also pleased to have with us today Secretary Rafael Lopez from the State Department of Human Services, Secretary Katie Savage, State Department of Information Technology, Secretary Mina Seshamani, Secretary of the Maryland Department of Health. I hope I mentioned everyone. The One app that is being shown to us today is a tool that will be transformative for residents seeking services because it's about breaking down barriers and making it simpler and more efficient for families to access health, human, and social services that they need. One app is the kind of technology that aligns perfectly with our county's commitment to delivering services that meet people needs where they are. We are excited and look forward to working hand in hand with our Governor Wes Moore and his administration to ensure successful implementation of One App here in Prince George's County. So thank you all again for coming out today, and I'm going to pass it over to our Executive Director, Rashida.
Welcome, everybody. Thank you all for coming out. If you all can give yourselves a round of applause for being here. So thank you to my glorious county exec for doing all of the announcements so that I can make it, I can say some things, but I'm not going to go over Kelsey, don't worry. I'm keeping it real short and simple. First and foremost, again, I would like to thank everyone. I would like to thank Flavorture in the back with Chef Mac and Chef Pinky for in-kinding all of the food for us today. Thank you very much for shutting your business down. Thank you to our amazing team who works on the front line with me every day, on the weekends and the evening. As many folks know, and if you don't know, this building runs 24 hours a day, 365 days a year. So thank you all. So at this moment and in this time, this is when they say boots on the ground, frontline service, that's what the One App is. The One App is a resource that will go statewide to rural communities, to urban communities, to individuals who are homebound, to moms, to fathers, to folks who don't have access to transportation, to those who are working multiple jobs, can't leave their jobs to make appointments so that they can apply for the benefits that they deserve and that they qualify for because of their lifestyle. So this is when place-based initiatives become tangible and real. This is when when a vision becomes a reality. You all are at the precipice of something that is great. The state of Maryland has been transformative ever since Governor Wes Moore has stepped on. So I know some say that you may be new to leadership, but I say you true to leadership. It takes somebody with bold audacity to not be scared, that's what the young people say, to make changes that are impactful, changes that change trajectories of time, because this One App in itself will be able to change generational lack of access to the vital resources needed for communities. That's access to social services resources, that's access to healthcare so we have healthy communities, that's access to benefits that folks need so that they can make up for the gap in their equitable income. This is what's needed now. And it shouldn't have took this long for us to get here, but now we're here. Now we're here, we're excited. We had Nixa who talked about it earlier, and I know the governor will share a little bit more about that, but I am so proud. This is a moment that is history. You may not know that, but this is history in the making in glorious Prince George's County that will be taken around the state of Maryland with the audacity. So to that end, I would like to bring up to the stage our amazing Governor Wes Moore.
Good morning, everybody. Good morning. What a great morning. What a great morning. And Rashida, God bless you. God bless you. God bless you. God bless you. Thank you. Thank you for being God's vessel. Because God favors you. And God loves you. And hearing your testimony about how you said you made one promise to God. You said, if you just help me in this moment, I will then spend the rest of my life helping others. And I want to thank you, Rashida, for being a promise keeper. Because you and the work that you are doing, it is absolutely extraordinary. We know we were listening to Nix's testimony earlier. And by the way, Nixa, your 4 beautiful children could not be more blessed than to call you mom. And I know that they appreciate that as I always say, that the greatest gift that God ever gave me was when He asked Joy Moore to give birth to me. And for your kids, the greatest gift they have is that they can call you mom. And to hear your story, to hear your testimony, and to hear just how important UCAP has been to your journey. Despite being from Pennsylvania, it ain't where you start, it's where you finish, right? But we are blessed to be in your presence, and blessed to be in your presence, Rashida. And speaking of blessed to be in presence, Madam County Executive, what'd you call it, Rashida? Our glorious County Executive? That feels about right to me. Our glorious County Executive, Madam County Executive, you have not hit the ground running, you have not hit the ground sprinting, you have hit the ground flying. And we are grateful for your leadership, and I'm always, always thankful to be in your presence. God bless you and thank you. Thank you. And I know you did it before, but I think the leadership that you are surrounded by, and our colleagues, they are worth another acknowledgement. And so to our chair and my frat brother, Chair Burrows, to our vice chair, Krista Oriana, to our new council member Adam Stafford, to council member at large, Julian Ivey, to Senator Ms. Joanne Benson, to Senator Malcolm Augustine, to Delegate, and what you say, my friend and my favorite, Ms. Fennell? Right back at my friend and my favorite, there we go. To Delegate Julian Ivey, and to Delegate Harrison. How blessed is Prince George's County to have these leaders at the helm pushing them forward. Thank you. There's not many times when you get a chance to see the what also equal the why. Right? There's not many times when you get a chance to stand and say that as you're rolling out initiatives or policies or things that you were working on as a collective, as a group, that it also helps to underscore why you got into this business in the first place, why you decided to go on this journey. Because one of the things that always got me, and again, I'm running for governor was the first elected office I ever held. Right before running for governor, I was the CEO, and I led one of the largest poverty fighting organizations in this country. This work is personal. This work is personal, not just because of my background. This work is personal because of my professional background, because I could not stand the fact that you can call yourself a civilized society when you allow so many children to grow up in poverty. You cannot call yourself a civilized society when so much of our children's future is being determined before they even have a say. You cannot call yourself a civilized society when we will bend over backwards to support the wealthy, but when we're asking those who do not have wealth to bend over backwards. What does it mean to be a civilized society? Who will we fight for? Who will we advocate for? Because the truth is, that is the greatest determination, and that's how you're going to be remembered. Nothing else. Do you understand that if we are all God's children, then by definition we are brothers and sisters? So we need to act accordingly. And so as we're looking around this beautiful room, because the truth is that everybody in this room was necessary for today to happen. Everybody's fingerprints are all over this. Everybody did not just have a seat at the table, everybody had a seat to move us forward. And I'm grateful for each and every one of you, and I also want to give a special shout to the leadership and my colleagues from the Moore Miller administration who continue every single day to make sure that we leave no one behind in the state of Maryland. And to my friends, Secretary Savage, to my friend, Secretary Martin, to my friend, Secretary Lopez, to my friend, Secretary Seshmani, I want to say how grateful I am to each and every one of you. because our state is better because you have raised your hand to serve. God bless you and thank you so much. I want to thank Pat McLaughlin too. Where's Pat? He was sitting right behind me. I want to say thank you to you and to the leadership for MD Think for understanding that we can have technology that's used not just to rise, but to technology to make sure that people can be seen and that people can be supported. I want to thank all the people who have done all this work to make today happen, including, by the way, our former Secretary of Health, Laura Herrera Scott. I want to thank the incredible team for Code for America, including Arlene Corbin-Lewis. I want to thank all of our, yes. All of our partners in the General Assembly, and I'd also like to acknowledge Pickett Slater Harrington for the fantastic work that he's doing as director of Enough. Because today truly marks a really important step for this state. Today actually marks a really important step for this country. Because it's right here and right now that Prince George's County and the state of Maryland is saying to everybody in our society, it's not just that we see you, but it's that we're here to not save you, but to remove the barriers that we have always intentionally put in your way. That now's the time. That we're being very clear that Maryland is going to double down on making government more accessible for all, and we are going to be unapologetic about it now. We will be unapologetic about it tomorrow. We will be unapologetic in the future as well. Because for families who are working out in Western Maryland, in some cases, by the way, working 2 or 3 jobs, and still living at or below a poverty line, we are saying to them very clearly, you will not be left behind. To that family who's over in the Eastern Shore, who's just simply looking for access to basic health care, and who wants to live in a society that says health care should be a right and not a privilege, we are saying to you, you are not going to be left behind. And to that family in Capitol Heights, who have benefited from school lunch programs, simply because if you want to be serious about education, let's make sure that the ones being educated are nourished and fed, not just intellectually, but also physically. That we are saying to those families in Capitol Heights that you will not be left behind. And now I know this might sound a little bit odd to some, because frankly, just down the road in Washington, D.C., we're hearing some different language. That down in Washington, D.C., we are watching a president of the United States who is choosing to take a sledgehammer to basic human services. That right now, just down the street, we are watching a Congress that is spending their time passing bills that they have the audacity to call beautiful. That includes things like major cuts to our children and to our seniors and to our rural hospitals and to services that our families were relying on, and essentially saying the relationship between the federal government and our states is not disrupted, it's severed. And while in Maryland we are saying leave no one behind, in Washington they are saying you are on your own. But we are proving here today that there actually is a better way. We are proving here today that as of today, Marylanders can go online and enroll in Medicaid, and in SNAP, and in WIC, and in TANF, and in energy assistance, and emergency assistance, and by the way, they can do it at the same time, all at once. Because here's the thing that people sometimes forget. If a person generally, oftentimes, if their situation merits them being qualified for one, generally it means their situation merits them being qualified for others as well. But here's what society does. We ask them to keep on reminding us about your situation. We ask them to keep on reminding us about your financial distress. Tell us about your poverty over and over and over again. Tell us. Remind us. Remind yourself. Now that doesn't happen for wealthy folks. but for people who are just simply looking for a little support. Keep reminding us. Keep asking. Keep filling out paperwork. Keep running through hoops. Keep doing it after your second and your third job. Keep doing it after you have to go pick up your child from childcare. Keep doing it. And today, in the state of Maryland, we are saying no longer and not anymore. Because today we're announcing what we were talking about earlier called one application. And this, you're absolutely right, is a game changer. This application means fewer forms, fewer trips, faster service, more support for families that need it most when they need it most. It's a smarter and it's a people-centered approach to the way that we are doing our governing in the state of Maryland. And it's built with input from frontline agencies and from the communities that we serve, that, as has been said before, nothing about us without us. And people have been calling for this kind of one-stop shop for years. And the thing that we're already seeing is folks are already loving it. We soft launched less than 2 weeks ago, and in that time, more than 22,000 Marylanders have completed the one application. Y'all hear me? 2 weeks, 22,000. We have cut down the average application time by nearly a full hour, from 80 minutes for SNAP alone to 28 minutes for all benefits, all at once. You would almost think, with the way they designed the system initially, that they did not want people actually receiving their benefits. But I digress. Because this, today, is what it means to build a government that works for people and actually delivers results. The one application will be managed under the agency formerly known as MD Think, because today we got another announcement. We are also going to officially rename MD Think to Maryland Benefits. And the name change is important because the name change actually reflects our focus. It reflects our focus on making government more accessible and making sure the Marylanders can get the benefits that they need in every part of the state, starting here in Capitol Heights. Because this is a part of the state that has faced cycles of intergenerational poverty. This is a part of the state that has been hurt by unjust policies like redlining, mass incarceration, and policies that have widened the racial wealth gap. And it's why we are investing in Capitol Heights through the Enough Act, which is a first in the nation, state-led, place-based investment strategy that focuses on putting the power to the people and allowing them to help determine their destiny by making sure that the people are the ones in charge of how resources are used and utilized within their own jurisdictions. And already through the Enough Act and through the leadership that we have seen, thank you so much, Pickett, thank you so much, Secretary Martin, that we have seen throughout that Maryland now has over $140 million that is focused on these initiatives of ending intergenerational and concentrated poverty in the state of Maryland. First state in the country. That's why Capitol Heights is also one of our just communities. And our just communities is one of the most aggressive pushes that we have in our state's history to end the racial wealth gap by focusing on neighborhoods that historically where you have seen government and the private sector collude to hurt communities of color, to hurt black communities. And that is why Capitol Heights is one of our just communities, when you look at the census tract, that now is at the front of the line to receive over $400 million in resources to address the racial wealth gap and to address the theft that has happened in so many communities. This is not the time, everybody, for no and slow. This is the time for yes and now. This is not the time to think about the challenges that our communities have seen. This is the time to address them. That's what this moment requires. And that's why this new one application ensures that all Marylanders in Capitol Heights and beyond can access the supports that they are legitimately entitled to. This is not charity. These are supports that they are entitled to, and supports that will not only lift up their families, but will lift up the entire community in the process. There are other communities, just like Capitol Heights, all over Maryland. And to all those people, I'm speaking to you too. That support is here. That we see you. That we know there are so many families who are working hard, who are playing by the rules, who are just trying to get by, but have not been supported by the status quo. For so many Marylanders out there, I know that there are situations that you find yourself working and existing in a system that you are realizing was never built for you to succeed. That was never built to support your families. That people want to look at you and then blame you for your situation, like you're the problem. We are here to say no more. We are here to say that this team, this collective group, this state, it won't be easy, but we were never promised easy. We were promised salvation. We were never promised simple. We were promised glory. We were promised that as long as we understood the assignment and we kept our promises, that everything was going to be all right. And Maryland, today here in Prince George's County and Capitol Heights, we are showing we are promise keepers and we understand the assignment. And so in these times, while I know they are difficult, the truth is we have seen difficult times before. We've seen tough before. And still we rise. And we're just going to make sure that this time we're rising together. And we're leaving no one behind. And so I'm so thankful to be with each and every one of you at such a historic moment. At a moment of true pride for our state. At a moment when we say to everybody in our state that we need you. And we're going to work to make sure that you achieve all of your God-given glory. And with that, I'm so thankful to turn it over to my partner in the work and my dear friend, Secretary Rafael Lopez.
So as you can imagine, I'm thinking, Lord Jesus, please let me follow this man properly. Because as I listen to my friends behind me saying, preach, we are grateful to Rashida and her entire team here, who not is just hosting us, but also modeling for us what it is to treat people with respect and dignity. Grateful to our county executive, who has also opened up her home of Prince George's County and is modeling an extraordinary way to partner with all of us in the state. This is a milestone moment for the over 1 million Marylanders that we at the Department of Human Services have the honor of serving. Inspired by Governor Moore's vision to end childhood poverty in Maryland, the audacity to say that out loud in this country, to actually end it. Our team has moved with urgency and innovation to leave no one behind. Leaders like Information and Technology Department Secretary Katie Savage, leaders like Health Secretary Mina Seshamani and previously Laura Herrera Scott, Maryland Benefits Executive Director Pat McLaughlin, Special Secretary Carmel Martin, and Arlene Corbin-Lewis and the entire Code for America team, and all of the teams that these executive leaders represent, they rallied to actually bring this governor's vision to life in Maryland. Tirelessly, this team has modernized how we engage Marylanders and how we treat them. Why? Because this governor had the courage to be audacious, to challenge the status quo. And why? Because Maryland deserves nothing less. They deserve world-class customer service. Today, we launch the Maryland Benefits One application. It's a new way for Marylanders to apply for benefits like Medicaid, Women, Infants, and Children, or WIC, Supplemental Nutrition Assistance, or SNAP, Temporary Assistance for Needy Families, or TANF, and Energy Assistance. And for far too long, we've heard from our customers, our moms, our fathers, our brothers, and our sisters, the sheer frustration of what it's like to navigate these services in this state and in this country. We hear, it shouldn't be this hard to get help. It takes too long. It's too confusing. And why should anyone have to tell their stories over and over and over when they need it most? We listened and we took action. Now, Marylanders can apply for benefits on their mobile phones at one time, in one place, in clear language, at marylandbenefits.gov. As a young person, I remember what it was like for my own mother to take multiple buses, extraordinarily long walks, and navigate government red tape to get the help she needed for her children. Marylanders, just like my mother, Maria Concepcion Lopez, are resilient and resourceful when it matters most. Maryland Benefits One application is our answer, the Moore Miller administration's answer to helping Marylanders when it matters most. Marylanders will no longer have to take multiple buses. They will no longer have to drive from state office to state office navigating our bureaucracies. They will not have to wait on the phone. They will not have to complete lengthy applications and separate forms to access the benefits they deserve and for which they are eligible. Instead, families can apply for benefits in one simple application on their phone or computer and do it within a matter of minutes, not hours, not days. We have grounded this work in the respect and dignity for the people we serve. And now in Spanish. Hoy lanzamos la aplicación Maryland Benefits One. Es una nueva forma para que los residentes de Maryland soliciten beneficios como Medicaid, WIC, SNAP, TANF y asistencia de energía. Por demasiado tiempo hemos escuchado de nuestros clientes su frustración al acceder a los beneficios. Dicen, no debería ser tan difícil obtener ayuda. Toma demasiado tiempo. Es demasiado confuso. Pero ¿por qué alguien debería contar su propia historia tantas veces cuando más necesita ayuda en su vida? Escuchamos y tomamos acción. Ahora los residentes de Maryland pueden solicitar beneficios en sus propios teléfonos móviles, en una ocasión, en un lugar, en un lenguaje claro y plano, en marylandbenefits.gov. Como joven recuerdo lo que era para mi propia madre, tomar varios camiones, largas caminatas y navegar por la burocracia para obtener ayuda para sus propios hijos. Los residentes de Maryland, al igual que mi madre, son resilientes y ingeniosos cuando más les importa. Maryland Benefits One application es nuestra respuesta para ayudar a los residentes de Maryland cuando más lo necesitan. Esta solución es rápida y fácil de usar. Los residentes de Maryland no tendrían que tomar varios camiones o conducir para ir a las oficinas estatales, esperar en el teléfono o completar extensos formularios separados para acceder a los beneficios para los que ellos son elegibles y que merecen. En lugar de eso, las familias pueden solicitar beneficios en una simple aplicación en su teléfono o computadora y hacerlo en cuestión de minutos, no horas o días. Hemos basado ese trabajo en el respeto y la dignidad hacia las personas que servimos. Let us be clear. This tool will not only help us deliver benefits more efficiently, it will center the dignity of Marylanders. We live in a world in which tracking an Amazon package is at our fingertips, on our phones 24/7. Why should Marylanders expect anything less than 21st century tech tools to help when it really matters with their benefits? Instead, Marylanders will come to expect a level of excellence in delivering world-class customer service at their fingertips when they need it most. And one application is an intentional departure from a legacy of leaving families out. Instead, it's bringing to life of our vision, of our governor, who is relentless in saying no more to the old way of doing business and building a future where no Marylander is left behind. We know, as the governor said, that these are difficult times, especially for the people we have the honor of serving. And we will not listen to the chorus of cynics who prefer to undermine and divide. We will model leadership that unites and uplifts. And with that, thank you, muchísimas gracias, and please join me in welcoming my sister, Secretary Katie Savage.
All right, good morning, everyone. My name is Katie Savage. I'm the IT Secretary and CIO for the state. I'm here to talk a little bit about the unsexy stuff, about how we made this happen from a technical perspective. I do want to thank my colleague, Secretary Lopez, for your leadership and partnership. Your passion for serving Marylanders is an inspiration for all of us. So Secretary Lopez and I joined Governor Moore's cabinet 2.5 years ago, and one of our first discussions was about the Maryland Benefits Platform, then called MD Think. And we found that depending on who you asked, no one could tell us what it was. And I think to the governor's point, that really reflected that no one really cared or had a vision for what we were trying to accomplish. The truth is, the Maryland Benefits Platform is the state's largest IT asset. It's actually one of the largest cloud platforms in the country. And it helps over 1.3 Marylanders get access to critical benefits and services. That goal needed to be centered first and foremost, but it took this administration to be crystal clear that this technology investment is for that purpose, to help Marylanders. Second, we realized we were leaving more potential on the table. We have worked together with our community partners, our state workforce, and the Maryland Benefits technical team, to whom I'm deeply grateful, to do more to simplify the experience. In addition to strengthening the website, we charted a course to link these applications together in a single experience. One application has a simple name, and today, as the governor said, I'm pleased to say that we are rebranding to Maryland Benefits, making it easier for Marylanders to understand what it is, and most importantly, that we care about them, that we want to serve them. Because this administration is heart-led, we actually came up with the name by sitting in the train station and asking Marylanders what to call it. So all of you are responsible for coming up with the Maryland Benefits name. But the confusion around this platform, around Maryland Benefits, ran much deeper. Over the years, the technology platform had an unsustainable technical and fiscal model associated with it. It also started with a lack of in-house technical leadership. Agencies and subject matter experts within the departments, Secretary Lopez, for example, they weren't empowered to set the direction, prioritize, and execute the work. So one of our first steps was in bringing Pat McLaughlin and Sheetal Agrawal into the state as in-house leadership to guide the platform, and then working with our sister agencies to bring their technical experts into the conversation as well, so we could be really focused on what we were trying to accomplish. Last fall, Secretary Lopez, then Health Secretary Herrera Scott, and I gave a unanimous recommendation to the governor's office that in addition to renaming the platform, we transfer operatorship to my department, from the Department of Human Services to the Department of Information Technology. Over the past 2 months, we've transferred the funds to make that a reality. So under this new model, agencies can do what they do best. So Secretary Seshmani, Secretary Lopez can really focus on partnering with all of you on the actual benefits, on service delivery, on working with the community, and my department and Pat can work on sort of the behind the scenes, more boring stuff. So we're really pleased to have the Maryland Benefits team join my agency. We are committed to using our resources and expertise to support the underlying platform, improve economies of scale, expand new forms of technology such as automation and artificial intelligence. We actually have a chatbot that we're using to help guide this experience right now, and identifying cross-cutting initiatives like One Application. I think One Application is hopefully the first of many ways we'll continue to use technology to simplify the experience. All of this work would not be possible without the support of Governor Moore. I am so proud to work for an administration that sweats the technical details and for a governor that understands that efficiency is more than dollars saved. It's about making sure we do a better job serving our people. One of the newest members of this administration, Department of Health Secretary Dr. Meena Seshmani, has hit the ground running and is helping Secretary Lopez and I refine the state services so no one is left behind. So with that, please help me to welcome Secretary Seshmani.
Good morning. It's so wonderful to be here with all of you today. I am really delighted to share this stage with Governor Moore, Secretary Savage, Secretary Lopez, Special Secretary Martin, Executive Director McLaughlin, Director Pickett, all the elected officials, and the leadership of United Communities Against Poverty. The Maryland Department of Health is excited to be a part of the launch of the One application. And I think just from what you're hearing from all of the names of all the people who are sharing this stage, it really is a testament to the power of collaboration and the power of putting people first. As Secretary Savage mentioned, I think I'm one of the newer members of the cabinet who's here today. And I did a leadership retreat with my team. And, we were thinking about, especially in these challenging times, as Governor Moore has described, who are we and what is it that motivates us and drives us to do what we do? And we did a word cloud exercise as we were thinking about our vision. And the word that came up front and center in big font was people. And I think this event today, this application that we are launching, is a testament to that. Not only for the Department of Health, not only for the Moore-Miller administration, but for the entire state of Maryland. And it is really an honor to be able to be part of this. So the first phase of One application, as mentioned, integrates the Medicaid program for older adults and for individuals with disabilities. Through this one-stop shopping portal, older adults and individuals with disabilities now have the opportunity to apply for Medicaid services wherever they are and whenever they want. This web application is paired with a benefits screener that was developed last December. And this benefits screener allows people to preview the benefits they may qualify for under Medicaid. And this ultimately speeds up the process and saves Marylanders valuable time, reducing delays and processing time so that they can get the health care that they need. This is such important progress toward giving people access to the services they need and deserve more readily and more easily. People are not divided into the various programs that they're eligible for, and neither should be the applications that they have to fill out to be able to get those services. This is an example of technology working for people, where you can access this application from anywhere, including a mobile device, because my children don't seem to know how to use computers anymore. It's all on phone. We're expecting that the One application will eventually be upgraded to enable even more individuals to apply for more types of Medicaid, including modified adjusted gross income based Medicaid and long-term care. So in the future, it will allow Marylanders to perform even more actions through the portal, such as reporting changes, renewing, managing their Medicaid applications, and reviewing important notices. This initiative represents such a significant step forward in our collective efforts to remove the barriers that individuals and families face in accessing essential resources like Medicaid. Again, thanks to Governor Moore's leadership, for having that audacious goal to remove the barriers that prevent people from getting access to the services they need to live their lives. By making it easier to access healthcare, we're increasing service availability and promoting a healthier, more hopeful future for every Marylander. This is such a wonderful moment to celebrate, and you all inspire us as we continue to pursue meaningful and measurable impacts for all Marylanders. So thank you, thank you, thank you. And with that, I'll turn it over to the Executive Director of Maryland Benefits, Pat McLaughlin.
This is a lot to follow. Good morning, everyone. I'm so humbled to be here today. Governor, county executive, executive director, secretaries, elected officials, it's a pretty overwhelming experience to be in this room right now. As was mentioned before, 2 years ago, several of us sat around looking to solve a major problem many in this room have experienced before. How do we more effectively not just serve our people, but how do we reimagine how we deliver those services for benefit access? And today we're here to show that by bringing together the right intentions, processes, the skill sets, and technology, we can deliver truly meaningful resources that make it easier for Marylanders to access critical benefits and those services. We on the Maryland Benefit team have really refocused our core principles on two major things: simplifying the experience for a customer and delivering everything with the highest quality possible. We've been making the Maryland Benefits platform and team more efficient by reorganizing our processes and by hiring and elevating key state leaders to drive our new direction. You heard this before. The key thing is we are guided by human-centered design in all of our work. So what does that mean? That means every step of the way, we're always including our customers, we're listening to them, and making sure that we're thinking about their experience through each step of the process. We know our customers have enough to deal with, so we can't assume that you're gonna know how to do something that we're driving the process for, rather than listening, how do you want your experience to go? So we're gonna do everything we can to continue to make things simpler and remove barriers. We're gonna continue to deliver mobile-first solutions that are easy to understand, that are accessible, and that are straightforward. As mentioned before by Secretary Seshmani, in December we released the benefits eligibility screener, and in doing so, with the one application launched today, we're able to represent a new way that this administration is going to be delivering results. As mentioned earlier with some of the stats, we included a soft launch of the application about 2 weeks ago. That means no marketing, no communicating to the public, just allowing people to come to the site and understand exactly what new services are there. It has to be intuitive. People need to understand where to click, when to click, and how to click. And the fact that 22,000 people have already completed this application is absolutely amazing. And it's not just the time to delivery. We talked about the reduction in time to fill out the applications, but I do want to call out a couple of things that were brought up earlier around the disconnect in existing processes. A customer previously would have to go to one location or another location, apply in different ways, and we saw significant programs where there were glaring gaps, one of which was the WIC program, where we saw a number of examples of people having to go for one particular benefit, not knowing they were either eligible for WIC or having to drive to a location, or in some counties walk to a location across the parking lot to apply for that benefit. We knew this was a big gap to fill. And in 2 weeks, we have had over 1,500 individual applicants through the application process, through the WIC application process. That's amazing in 2 weeks, and that is a huge gap, and I know that number may not seem on the surface as something overly overwhelming, but it is to us knowing the gaps that existed previous to that. One other thing, one other area I do want to highlight related back to the screener is the way we approached trying to make benefit access more easily understood, is making the language accessible, straightforward. You don't have to understand what our org structure is in order to receive a benefit. You should be able to come in and understand in a matter of seconds what those benefits provide based on the language we're using. And we set up the eligibility screener to do this, to within 5 minutes give our customers an opportunity to understand which of those 5 benefits they are potentially eligible for. And the goal of One Application is now to transition that eligibility process directly into the application. And we've already seen roughly 4,000 individuals come through that screener process and immediately fill out that application thereafter. And that's a huge testament to the work that was done in simplifying the process and making sure we can create a simpler journey for our customers. So the significant progress would not have been possible without the partnerships of not just the Maryland Benefits team, but the Department of Human Services, Department of Information Technology, the Department of Health, the Health Benefit Exchange. I specifically want to extend a special thanks to the Department of Human Services Family Investment Administration, the Department of Human Services Office of Energy Programs, the Department of Health's Office of Eligibility Services, the Maryland WIC program, and again, the Health Benefit Exchange. These programs came together, they brought their subject matter experts, their existing caseworkers, all of the individuals that needed to be empowered to tell us their story and what the impacts would look like in order for us to deliver the services. I also want to highlight the state's fantastic partnership with Code for America. Their expertise in human-centered design and streamlining application processes was key to our ability to provide access to resources for underserved communities, demonstrating that through partnership, when we work hand in hand, we can create a lasting impact. By aligning our goals and leveraging each other's strengths, we've developed and will continue to innovate solutions that directly address people's challenges. Because we're just getting started. This is not going to be the last time you hear about these types of services. Looking ahead, there's a ton to be excited about as we start to think about additional benefits and resources that can be made available, not just through One Application, but from the state. We're going to continue to partner with state agencies like the Department of Juvenile Services, the Department of Disabilities, Aging, Housing and Community Development, and Labor to expand benefit access to their organizations, to the customers they support and serve. Additionally, we're going to continue to expand new initiatives. We're partnering closely with Special Secretary Martin and the Governor's Office of Children and the State Chief Innovation Officer, Francesca Iafredo. These partnerships will give us more ways to connect with the people we serve and make a more lasting impact. Thank you for being part of this journey with us. I just want to express a special thanks to the Governor, Secretary Lopez, Secretary Savage, Secretary Seshamani, Executive Director Elberly, and then a huge shout out truly to the Maryland Benefits team, Sheetal Agarwal, Brendan Colsting, Laura Elena, Vivek Chandroth, Patrick O'Malley, Suresh Nair, and Ever Rutledge Smith, and many, many more. It took a large collaborative effort between multiple agencies working hand in hand, and it was just amazing to just be a fly on the wall watching that journey occur. So we're going to continue to work together. We'll make a difference in the lives of many Marylanders, and then we'll always ensure that no Marylander is left behind. Thank you very much, and with that, I'd like to now ask Akeisha Harley to come up to share her story.
Good morning, everybody. I unfortunately do not have a speech prepared, but there's nothing more than just being able to tell it from exactly how it is. My name is Akeisha Harley. A lot of people here in this building also know me as Nixa, as my nickname. I am a mom of 4 children, 2 of my youngest who are here with me, 7 and 3. They are special needs kids. And Governor Morse spoke earlier about having to sit here and tell your story over and over when you go to these different places and you talk to people about what benefits and things that you need in order to progress through your situation. It is extremely stressful to sit here and have to go over and over and meet different people and have to sit there and tell everybody your story. It's hard. You don't want to keep telling people how messed up your life is, how much you're struggling, and the things that you need when you feel like as a parent you should be able to be there and provide for your kids. It's difficult, it's hard.
I wish the One app was available when I sat here and I had to apply for everything. I've had to sit here and drag my kids through the rain and stroller and snow on the bus to sit here and get everywhere that I had to go. Sitting in an office with special needs kids, trying to keep them quiet and still so everybody would not stare at you was difficult. It's still difficult now. Had this One app been available for me when I needed it, it would have made things so much simpler, so much quicker, faster, and more efficient for me and my kids to get what we needed, and I didn't have to go here, there, and everywhere. So taking the time to go through this app, I feel like the people who are going to be using it, the ones who've already gone through it and completed the application, will benefit them so much more easier. They won't have to travel and go through the self-embarrassment to sit here and talk with people and do these things. So I really feel like this app is amazing. The people who created it and people who are working through it are also amazing. And everybody who's been here for me at UCAP, my case manager, Miss Williams. She's a very important lady, besides Miss Jameson. She helped me sit here and made sure I had everything I needed to have. And she had to dig in me. You tell me that she's had to get on me sometimes if I fell behind and I didn't do what I needed to do. So having these things implemented for us to be able to get where we need to go is important. So with that, thank you. I appreciate you all.
So on that note, we are going to conclude the program. But the irony, real quickly, as you know how some folks say see you and they think you always had it all together. A lot of times we don't allow ourselves to acknowledge our individual testimonies because they're not for us, they're for us to share with others, right? So it's benchmarks in lives and we all learn off of each other. But I remember when I graduated from college and my now husband, but then my boyfriend, I was pregnant. And I vowed I would never be on welfare or get food stamps because I was gonna be not like my mom. Because in my mind, when you applied for benefits and you were on the system, you weren't doing something right. But God showed me differently. I remember when I was pregnant and my mom was like, if you wanna feed this baby, you're gonna go get your benefits. So I remember being down at the welfare office and I was so ashamed. I was so embarrassed. I said, how the heck am I a college graduate and I'm sitting here applying for food stamps, WIC, and other benefits. And I was so ashamed when I sat and I had to explain to the folks, you know, what I needed. And, you know, they were like, well, what do you work? And I don't work. Well, what do you do? I just graduated from college. Well, and I'm sitting there and I was just, the feeling that I had. But what I also had when I left that building, I had my WIC, and I had my food stamps, and I had my, back then it was welfare, but now it's TCA. And as I rode home on the bus, again, embarrassed and ashamed, I had the services that I needed, but I had to go through that to get to this. And so for the folks that don't want to go through that to get to what they need, that's a gray area of our community that's really being left out there. And I thank you for all you all for creating something that will allow us to have dignity through our challenges. So, again, we have Flavorful out of DC, Chef Mac and Chef Pinky. Thank you guys for providing food this evening. We have our group of Level Up, which are Entrepreneur Boot Camp. All of these young people have businesses. Please stand up. So, this is our present, that is our future, and on that note, have a great rest of your week.